Angels waging war in the unseen realm. Global events fulfilling biblical prophecy. Eternal life. What lies beyond mortality? From analyzing the paranormal from a biblical worldview to the discussion of cutting-edge science and technology, conspiracy, discovery, special investigative reports. Unafraid to explore the challenging issues facing humanity. Welcome to another edition of SkyWatch TV.
The Apostle John wrote that at some point in the future, something would fall from heaven and turn the waters of the earth bitter. Watch this.
I intend to share undisclosed facts that are stranger and scarier than most people can comprehend, and it is going to shake the public to the bone. And yes, this involves a cover-up of the highest order by national space agencies, including NASA.
The asteroid is 100% certain to strike Earth, according to one space expert who says this is a matter of life and death.
You'd probably have millions of casualties.
Is a planet-killing asteroid a possibility? NASA has determined that the threat is real.
And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And many men died of the waters.
Chief technology experts and working scientists agree with me. But what's more concerning is that this was prophesied in the Bible for the end times.
Welcome to SkyWatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert. It's a special program as we kick off a series of 4 programs about a brand new book from the best-selling author, CEO of SkyWatch TV, Dr. Thomas Horn. The book, The Wormwood Prophecy, NASA, Donald Trump, and a Cosmic Cover-Up of End-Time Proportions. Joining me on the panel to discuss this over the next several weeks, my best friend, co-author of our new book, Veneration, Sharon K. Gilbert.
Hi, sweetie.
And the author of the book, the aforementioned Dr. Thomas Horn. Tom, welcome back.
Great to be here.
The Wormwood Prophecy, what is the connection? And I know that there's some things that you can't reveal yet on this program, but what is the connection between wormwood, which is the prophesied star that falls from heaven or mountain burnt that falls from, in Revelation, and chaos?
Yeah, well, let's get to that in a moment.
Okay, all right.
But first, let me start by saying that for a while, Charisma has wanted to publish a book by me, because people are going to wonder why in the world with us owning Defender Publishing.
That's right. That's why I didn't mention CEO of Defender Publishing, because, okay, yes, why is this not a Defender book? Why is this a Charisma book?
Yeah, and anyway, long story short, Steve Strang, Steve owns, Charisma and is the CEO of several other operations, the publishing house, the magazine, all that. We were on the phone. But we were talking about, what is my next project? And I said, I am feverishly working on a book that right now I'm only calling Wormwood. I started sharing some things with him. And then he emailed me 3-4 hours later. And he said, odd. He said, I searched through Google, I searched through Amazon. I cannot find a single book on the Wormwood prophecy that has been written from a conservative Christian point of view. Now, of course, there could have been something in antiquity. We know that the early church fathers, had their ideas about wormwood, and we're going to get into some of those as these weeks transpire. But that was the same thing. I went to just Amazon and looked up wormwood. The only thing I could find over there was a New Age book where a guy was tying it to Nibiru or Nibiru, whatever you call it, and the Mayan prophecies and just a whole bunch of gobbledygook. But I couldn't find anything. So that was a point of interest to me. And as we're doing these programs, this is really coming out of Revelation 8:10 through 11 that says, "And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter." So we're going to kind of walk around, what is that text actually talking about, what the early church fathers believe, what people like Dr. Michael Heiser believes, what I personally believe. But let me say, this all started with something for me that is more metaphysical. I don't think I have ever talked about this on SkyWatch TV. I've only spoke of it privately with my family on a couple of occasions, and then one time I hinted at it on one of Sid Roth's It's Supernatural. And it's an event that happened to me many years ago now when I was just a young Christian and was just so passionate. I mean, just every day literally begging God to let me be in the ministry, right? Just feeling that, when you're called into the ministry before you even know what's going to happen or what it means, but the zeal of the Lord hath eaten me up. You just have that passion in your heart. And so I was, at that time, just praying every single day. And I came home one night and went to bed. The next thing I know, and this was very vivid, this was not like, I had a dream. This was something different. As so far as I knew, this was actually happening. I didn't know how I got there. I didn't really even quite know what was going on. But I was standing in something very brilliant. In my mind, I'm thinking this is like a throne, right? Like the prophets may have described the throne of God, right? Just absolutely brilliant. Somehow I also knew in my mind that I was standing before God. And I was saying something. And as I listened to myself, right, what I was saying was, please, don't let me forget. Don't let me forget. And somehow I knew that he had told me I was going to forget whatever it was he had told me. It just didn't make any sense at all, right? And I'm begging, please don't let me forget. And all of a sudden, I start falling. Like I've jumped out of an airplane without a parachute, right? And my back is beneath me. And I'm literally falling. And I can see all of this and the sky, everything moving away from me very rapidly, right? And I'm falling. All of a sudden, I see the roof of my house go, and it went right around me. And I fell on the bed, right? I felt myself physically hit the bed. And immediately, now I'm awake. And immediately, I sat up in bed and I breathed in real deeply. Like that. And then I hear my wife, and she's bawling her head off. Now, I'm awake now, right? And I look over at my young wife, Nece, and she is, her face is just, her hands in her face, and she is bawling. And I'm like, what's going on? What's the matter? What's happening? And it really took her a few minutes to collect herself, right? And then she explained to me that she had woke up in the middle of the night and I was dead. Now, this wasn't just she poked me and I didn't move. This was her spending probably 10 full minutes trying to resuscitate me. She doesn't know how to do it. She's beating on my chest. I have no pulse. I'm cold, actually, to the touch. I'm not breathing. She puts her ear down to my mouth. She can't hear me breathing. I'm just not there, right? This is what she was doing while I was somewhere else. And then when I woke up, it took her a moment for her to collect herself. Now, fast forward so I don't go into every detail, but the next day, I go and see my pastor. And I tell him all about it because I'm a young Christian. I don't even have no idea what this means, right? And his response, well, let's just say that his response was the definition of the New Testament, not to cast your pearls before swine, not saying that my pastor is a pig at the time, right? But that he totally did not get the idea of something supernatural, right? He just thought I ate too much chili or something before I went to bed. So as a young Christian, I immediately then put up this wall where I am just not going to share this with anybody else, because whatever it was, for me, it was more real than this matrix that we live in here. And I didn't know how anybody would understand it. And really what I needed was an answer. It just did not make any sense to me at all. Why would God, right, tell you something and then say, but you're not going to remember? What is the point in that, right? I just didn't get it. And every day I'm praying and I'm praying and I'm praying. And I want to show you. For the very first time in my life as a young Christian, I was reading through the Bible. I'd never read it. Well, I'd hardly read any of it, right? And so I'm reading through the Bible. This is maybe 2 to 3 weeks later. I'm still praying about this every day. What did that all mean? And I came upon this scripture. So this is Job 33, starting at verse 14, and it says this: For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceives it not. Verse 15, In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he opens the ears of men, and sealeth their instructions, that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. And I'm telling you that the difference between Logos and Rhema. When I read that day, and I knew nothing about theology or scripture, I knew nothing. When I read that, my mind was so open so quickly, and I instantly got it. That God had sealed within me during the night, in deep sleep and slumbering upon the bed, instructions that were going to serve some kind of a purpose. But why would he not let me remember? That he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. And I immediately got that, even as just a baby Christian, right? That if I had known where someday I would be, first of all, I would not have taken the course that I needed to take, right?
Right.
For all the hard times, the struggles, for everything that hones us, right, as believers. The stuff we don't really want to go through, but later on in life you look back and you realize you really needed to go through those trying times, because it defines your character. It makes you who you are. If I had known that someday we'd be doing television, speaking at people's conferences, publishing books, doing all this stuff, what would I have done? I would have aimed at it.
Yes.
And I would have set my focus on it, and I would have been doing everything to make that happen, right? But God wouldn't let me remember. Why? Because he wants to withdraw man from his purpose. The second thing, that he might hide pride from man, because as a very young Christian, had I seen myself, the stuff I do today, and I don't think about it, it doesn't affect my pride. I don't think of, myself as anything. But back then, I might have been tempted.
Sure.
And then that could have ruined everything that God wanted to happen. Okay, I said all that to say this. There have been a few times in my life, and my son Joe, who's standing off camera over here, could verify this, in which something odd happens. And it's always in the middle of the night. In fact, what's strange, maybe you could explain what this means, it's almost always around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I will be, again, in the most vivid kind of dream. These are more like, a full-on theatrical, Hollywood-level film in terms of the graphics and the three-dimensionality, the colors and stuff that we're not supposed to have in dreams, right? This has happened a few times in my life. Joe will tell you that when we were getting ready to move here, right, to do everything we're doing here today from Oregon, and I resigned from the Assemblies of God. Something happened. I woke up in the middle of the night. I jumped up. I wrote down all these notes. And the same morning, I sent an email to the state superintendent for the Oregon District Assemblies of God, giving him a list, a whole detailed list of a whole list of things that were going to happen. Now, recently, Joe found that old letter that I sent to him and read it, and he came to me just ashen-faced. He said, "Oh my gosh, Dad." He said, "You absolutely nailed every one of these things that happened within 24 months, including the death of a young man." Just very vivid descriptive details. Now, another example that most of the world is more familiar with, is in 2010. And the weirdest thing, of course, I was studying Petrus Romanus and all that at the time. Chris Putnam and I were working on a book, right? But in the middle of the night, I have this vivid vision. And actually what I saw were very dark clouds rising up over the Vatican, right? Now, you could say, well, it's because you're studying all this stuff. But I woke up and immediately took a paper and I wrote down Pope Benedict is going to resign in April of 2012. And if you recall, and people can go get the YouTubes and watch this, I'm on Sid Roth's show, I'm on Jim Bakker's show, I'm on Prophecy Watchers, and we didn't yet have the studio. And I'm saying, I believe that Pope Benedict XVI is going to resign. Not only that, I believe he's going to do it in April of 2012. I'm on tape in 2010 and 11 saying this, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And I was getting all this feedback from especially Catholics. You don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Popes don't resign, right?
Yeah.
They die in office. And that had been true for something like 500 and some years, right? So here's the thing. When 2012 came, and nothing happened, for a while I was really confused because I was certain that this was going to happen exactly when I went out on a limb, right? But then 2013, what happens? It hits the news. Pope, and I remember because it was February 28th, which is my birthday. That's why I've never forgot it. February 28th, 2013, the Vatican's big announcement, Pope Benedict XVI has stepped down, right? He has resigned. But the same day, the El Observatorio Romano, which is the Vatican's news media outlet, they gave an interview with the New York Times. And in that interview, they admitted Pope Benedict actually secretly, officially resigned to the Roman Curia. Did it privately, right? And they gave the date. He did that when he returned on a trip in April 2012.
Right.
And I'm telling you what, my phone lit up, including reporters from Rome, everybody wanting to know who our insider was on that event. But the point was, and I cannot choose, and I don't consider myself a prophet or any of those kind of things. I just don't. I can't explain what this is. I really can't. But it is supernatural. And it has not failed me yet, but it don't happen when I want it to.
That's right.
I can pray and say, give me a revelation, and that just does not work. And I can't really even explain why. Why was it so important, this thing with the Pope? I don't know. Some larger cause, right? Now, why am I saying all this about, when we're doing programs on wormwood? It was because early this year, this happened again.
Oh.
And this was the worst, most terrifying experience in terms of a dream, the most vivid in terms of a dream. And I can't share the vision because I promised Sid Roth, right, that I would not do this until January, which I'm going to do on the It's Supernatural program. And I know we got to go to a break, but the point is this, that when I jumped out of bed, it almost knocked me. I almost fell off the bed, right? And I jumped up, and I went to start writing down a lot of the stuff that wound up in this book, The Wormwood Prophecy. Though I don't describe it as a vision in here, but like the narrative. When you're reading, I can't talk about it yet, but when you're reading about some of that stuff, that's because that's what I saw. But I don't want to say I had a vision. I wanted the book to just be about what I believe is going to happen, what I saw. But I will give this one thing away. As soon as I stood up out of bed and I went to write, it was like, I don't think somebody whispered in my ear, but that's what it felt like. It felt like somebody whispered in my ear one word, Apophis. And I only knew this has something to do with an ancient demon god of destruction. And I also knew that there was an asteroid named Apophis, but I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
More on that.
Yes, we will continue this conversation. Tom Horn's new book, The Wormwood Prophecy, will tell you how to get it from the SkyWatch TV store, along with the special offer that's part of this. And when we come back, we'll talk about Apophis and why that may be relevant to Revelation chapter 8 when SkyWatch TV continues.
NASA, Donald Trump, and a cosmic cover-up of end times proportions. SkyWatch TV is proud to announce the largest giveaway of the year, the Project Wormwood Grand Giveaway. When you order Dr. Thomas Horn's new book, The Wormwood Prophecy, from the SkyWatch TV store, you'll also receive on DVD the entire 4-part SkyWatch TV series on the Wormwood Prophecy, featuring Dr. Thomas Horn and Derek and Sharon Gilbert. But we're just getting started. You'll also receive the never-before-released Best of Defender Publishing ebook collection on data disc, featuring 70 of the most information-packed, best-selling books in Defender history. These full-length works are in popular ebook formats, so you can read them on EPUB, PDF, Kindle, and other handheld electronic devices. Give this collection as the ultimate gift to somebody you know this holiday season, or take them with you wherever you go. Valued at over $700 all by itself. But that's not all. With the holidays just around the corner, now's your chance to save big and receive a massive collection of merchandise. Also included in the Wormwood Grand Giveaway is a gargantuan supply of brand new super quality overstock gift books, DVDs, audio sets, survival and organic living books to add to your library or to give away as gifts this holiday season. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of over $900. Yours now for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling. This is the largest giveaway of the year and will be available only while supplies last, so don't delay. The Project Wormwood Grand Giveaway, available now at skywatchtvstore.com. Order now or call 1-844-750-4985.
Welcome back to SkyWatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert. Please take advantage of the exclusive web-only programs that we make available every week from SkyWatch TV. We've got 30-minute programs on science, into the multiverse, Sci-Friday, programs that deal with prophecy, unraveling revelation, and, of course, daily news updates as well, only available from skywatchtv.com. We're talking with Dr. Tom Horn. Sharon K. Gilbert joins me as we discuss Tom's new book, The Wormwood Prophecy. Apophis, in my research, ancient Egyptian deity, agent of chaos, a chaos monster, chaos dragon, equated with deities in other pantheons. The Greeks called him Typhon. The ancient Sumerians called it Tiamat in the Bible. We probably know it by the name Leviathan. This was the word that you remembered after this disturbing dream vision earlier this year?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, again, without really giving the details of what I saw, I will tell you this much, that in this night vision, almost more of a night terror, but I knew it was a thing from God, what I first thought I was looking at was a dragon. What I first thought I was looking at was a dragon undulating, right? Moving towards the earth. Mm-hmm. I later realized the way the sun was hitting something that was turning, that it was casting the shadow on it that made it look like it was moving back and forth like a snake or a serpent, right? But so it's interesting that you bring that up, you know, that and makes you wonder if some of these occult visions from the ancients were seeing some of the same kind of thing in terms of their description. And even why, and we'll have to talk about this like on the next program, but why does NASA do this? Why do they name these near-Earth threatening space objects after these ancient deities, these ancient gods? Why do they have
a lot of names right now that relate to Egyptian mythology?
We saw this with the asteroid called Bennu, and then the probe to go visit it was called Osiris-Rex, which was a European Space Agency probe, but they really twisted around the acronym in order to make it fit. Osiris-Rex, Osiris the king, Osiris, who's the Lord of the dead.
And Bennu is where he's supposed to be buried.
Yes, Bennu was a representation of the bird, like a phoenix-like
bird. The Bennu
bird.
There was a resurrection bird, exactly.
Right. So, yeah, you'd think that in our modern scientific age, our age of reason, that scientists like those working at NASA would draw on, you know, why not name it for some of the great astronomers? Why not call it Comet Galileo or Copernicus or something like that? Why not, you know, instead of digging into pagan deities?
Right. Well, and it could be, and I'm just reaching here, trying to, you know, get into NASA's head about why you would name a space rock Apophis. But one thing we know about Apophis from mythology was this god could not be stopped. It was all powerful.
Right.
There was nothing you could do to stop whatever it wanted to happen. Is NASA, are they extending something here?
Well, Apophis was the chaos dragon that had to be fought every night. Now, back in the day, those of us who know anything at all about Set, the evil twin brother of Osiris, is that back in the days of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, in that period of Egyptian history, Set was still one of the good guys. He rode the solar boat of Ra, the sun god, every night, and when it passed over the horizon, Set was on the front of the boat to fight off Apophis, because Apophis wanted to eat the sun and return the world to the primordial chaos from which it emerged. It hated order and wanted to return the world to chaos, like Leviathan, like the god of death, Mot, like Tiamat. The Norse have a similar legend where Thor had to defeat a chaos dragon. The Hittites and Hurrians had a similar myth. The early Indian culture had a similar myth. A warrior god had to defeat this god of chaos in order to allow for the creation of life, the creation of everything on earth.
We see in Genesis 1:2 that the Spirit is hovering over essentially a chaos
The
dragon.
deep, Tehom,
Yes.
which is the cognate for the Sumerian
Leviathan.
Tiamat. You're right.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is really curious that NASA would choose to give that particular name to an asteroid that has some chance of intersecting the orbit of the Earth.
Right. And
Well, not the orbit of the Earth, intersecting the Earth, which is the
Yes,
whole point.
exactly.
And in programs to come to follow this, I'm going to tell you why I believe it has more than some chance of impacting the Earth in 2029, so a little over 9 years from right now, and what that might mean in terms of prophecy. Now, we don't want to scare people. That's not what we do.
No.
But at the same time, we believe in biblical prophecy, and we know these things are shortly to come to pass according to Scripture. During this series of programs, it is also the biggest giveaway, as you saw in the commercial earlier. Actually, the biggest giveaway ever at SkyWatch TV. Over $900 in free books and products, just a ton of stuff. But this is the only one I want to mention, is the collection of ebooks on a data library that are in all of the ebook formats, so Kindle, Nook, EPUB, whatever it is that you use. Now, this is 70 of our top-selling books. This is over $700
Wow.
in ebooks all by itself. You're going to want this. If you read ebooks at all, you want this. If you know anybody in your family that likes to read ebooks on tablet or Kindle or whatever, ultimate Christmas gift, $700 in Defender Publishing's best-selling ebooks. We've never done this before. We're never going to do it again.
Wow.
But that plus hundreds of dollars in other free books, movies. So make sure this is a limited time offer. We don't know how long we're going to let it run, but certainly during these 4 programs. And of course, we're giving that away with my new book, The Wormwood Prophecy.
And just remember, whatever comes to pass, it's because God has ordained it and will allow it. More to come in the weeks ahead. Stay with us. We thank you for watching as we keep watch. With Tom Horn and Sharon K. Gilbert, I'm Derek Gilbert. This is SkyWatch TV.